Test. I made a commit. Which was cool. Might be close to ready, right? Yeah. That's it for now. Um, so, So, nothing to commit. Um, let's see. Git log. So we got snippets and snippets done. Small description, an option is toggled. Snippet is inserted into the default snippet. Well, specifically, entire functions are replaced temporarily. Probably for a while though. Um, I think I could do git diff one up from the head versus head. If I do this. Um, I think that worked, but to make sure. Same thing. I think. Is one of these the... Would I be able to tell? Like, is this like the start of the commit something? Not the commit. So, this looks like it's file specific. Um, oh my god. So, I needed to add a read directories. Um, I think doing this commit, was, really cool to see all that, duplicate unnecessary lines, go away. A section of this commit, specifically for some reason, so I took a little break. It was on Sunday, and then started working from, I think, probably just really late, probably up until 3 a.m. trying to see if I could get snippets inside snippets. I kind of thought it would be easy, but I was probably wrong about it being easy. Two, I was so incredibly tired and wasting so much time. Where the probably the amount of times I don't think I did I think I might have did it once where in a for loop doing minus the basically the inverse and basically infinite loop, or instead of incrementing I decrement, or instead of uh, decrementing I um increment. One thing I also did that might in the future have me like rework everything and never use I, because I doing like here this double for loop, and even down here this double for loop, doing uh for let I, and then for the next one doing a for let I, that it just like, one, it makes sense because it's like, what letter do you use after I? It's just I is the letter. But then um and it's also just, you're already just uh, a double tap of I, and I don't know, it's the other common letters like J, K, all these like weird letters, they're just far, like they're not as comfortable to press as like uh on the word, like I guess. Um so what I ended up doing is, as I would get through typing the second for loop, for example here, just out of habit, on the very last specifying whether it's increment and decrement, I did I plus plus instead of I plus plus, and that, what is this thumbcorn? That's a thumbcorn. Um, it took me, not incredibly long, a decent amount of time. But after like an error, I just kind of, you um, when I have a solution to this, to a problem, or like my idea of a solution or a solution to an error, I kind of just like try to write it out as quick as possible, write out what I need to get, and then quickly test it. Um, I don't think I ever write something out and then reread what I wrote to make sure I didn't actually make any mistakes. Um, so I made that mistake, and then just coming back, and normally I would kind of think I don't know, putting like console logs, trying to figure out like what variable went wrong. I probably wouldn't have been able to catch it that quickly, but I was kind of uh just there in a sense, where I kind of did take a look, and then I did see it. I did catch it without needing to do any like tests. But yeah, it's like I came across those looping errors constantly where I didn't really know what it was, because I was trying to get this while loop working. Um, and I was like really confused on why it wasn't working, even though it should have made sense. That made sense that it was. A lot of the time, it's something else in the code that made it do that for some reason. I don't know. And then this weird thing, I'm not really it had to have been something. I don't believe this is possible. But for a bit base, like I couldn't splice anything, so I was doing even not even in a for loop, just either right here or right here. I would do a base dot splice 0 maybe I should check what the bakery seed looks like. It probably won't show me, right? I, that's it's Chrome thing. So I'll do 0, 0, so it's inserting in the first position. Test, just the string test, and that wouldn't work. And I even tried in the second, I guess it, but then I just did, and this shouldn't make sense because reading dot splice, it returns what is deleted, and I think if you are inserting without deleting, it returns some empty array. But I just did base equals, and then that just made it work somehow. I don't know. And then after it worked, I was able to delete them again, and then it worked inside the for loop, even though I don't remember changing anything. But as far as like the whole, I'll get into it later, but the whole this thing, I was pretty sleepy, so it took me a lot longer than it should have. But even though it took me a lot longer than it should have, it kind of wasn't easy. I don't even remember, like, I remember having to go through like 2 or 3 of these, like, iterations, but it didn't seem like for this, I felt like I kind of was a little bit more experienced having done stuff like this. It just this with just a little bit different, right? But I don't know. As you can see, I kind of broke it up into 3 spots. Basically, putting this into temporary, then deleting the functions, and then inserting the temporary back into base. I had to do that because I couldn't really do this type of style where I just do 2 for loops and then do the code to all in one. It just wasn't working no matter what I tried, and it was horrible to kind of figure out what was going wrong and what was and like the right path. It was very limiting in a way. Whereas like this, like I could go any which way about it. I could go, as you can see, I went forwards here, backwards, forwards, and then this is forwards. It's like you could go. There's like a whole lot of control, and I was maybe I'll there's probably a good chance I'll come back to this in the future and try to do it a lot better, just like this. And maybe even try to fix this, because I'm sure even this can be a lot better, but uh, what I came out here isn't that bad. It's not a whole ton of like code, and like there are temp variables. There's three, four. There's four, and then there's variables right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably like three. Um, but you know it works. So move on to other stuff. And speaking of other stuff, I'm gonna change uh the order of this. I should have uh, does DD save to my clipboard? I don't remember. Let me try. It does. So this seems like a lot more important, being able to like edit local files. Compared to Splice, because just a few seconds ago I was thinking, Splice is cool and useful. Um, but it'll take a while before it becomes like powerful or something. And if I were to do it right now, it'd be like really cut down and really kind of annoying to use. Where I probably wouldn't even uh do the whole, even more than just not the output, not the 2000 editing at the same time. Just edit them separately. And then once I do uh once I get that working, then I can focus on being able to edit like 3 documents at the same time or something like that. Um so yeah, I'm doing this first just so I could get editing just documents on a computer working. At least I think just editing. And then find, very useful. I use it a lot. Of course. Very simple version of find, just like this, where you can type in function and then go through all the functions wherever it says function. Um, Update to do list. And now, before we get into specifics, I guess we get if thought I hit enter. Before I run the command, I guess, so make sure the plans get replaced. It might have actually been able to do one more tick. Oh, I think that's okay. I think we're good. 20 minutes of that. Um, we did move some files around. I'm not sure if that's what that means. Added files or whatever. Uh, so this to this. That makes and just uh doing that. We added this function with that code. We have to read what's in the directory so that's we know what possible snippets we can use. So if there's something that's so if there's an option called test that will eventually be a snippet, but it's not yet a snippet. I don't know what happens, but if we read through it. And it removes all this the switch statement and just we loop through the options now. Destructuring. I think oh, I think if it didn't have a new line, it would still paste it in the next line anyway, which I didn't like. That's not how it's supposed to be done. So I just fixed it. I removed these because I thought it was, I think it might have been or it might not have been. Did I? Oh, no, I thought I put in Tom Cran instead of Here's Sweet Seed. I thought it was messing with, I think it might have been, I'm not sure, messing with when I put a snippet, instead of a snippet, specifically a function, and replacing one function with another function. I have to know, what, how much of the function I have to delete, how big is the function that I'm gonna insert, uh, stuff like that. So basically when the function ends, so basically we find the start of the function and then we go until we see 4 spaces, which is my 4 spaces is, um, the way I like to indent, 4 spaces and, uh, a closing bracket. And in a lot of my code, uh, when it's the closing bracket of a function or an if statement or a for loop, it doesn't have a semicolon. If it is something else, like calling a function or setting a variable, it does have a semicolon. I don't, it's just how I've done it. But there was semicolons here, and I do I checked the entire line for this 4 spaces and closing bracket, just in case it stuff like if finding it when it's like not the proper scope sometime. I don't know. So it's just easy to just fix those, so it's consistent. Oh no. I was like, why isn't my upper and down arrow working? I think I was not focused in. So main reason for having snippets instead of snippets is for stuff like this, where I didn't have this 2 times text exporter plus text exporter Y, even though it was the proper thing to do. I had an ln but not an edit, and I was just I just said I would do it later, because I have the line numbers turned on anyway, so it doesn't make sense to kind of stop my flow and what I'm doing to put it in both files all the time. But since I have snippets inside of snippets now, I only have to do it once. So edit turned into the default, and then that line numbers file, a lot of the edit code got deleted. So but for doing that, I added this. I think I added some stuff back in. I added this. I think this is what does it say the file? It should, but whatever. So all this stuff is stuff that was changed in edit ln, but not edit. I had to change it then. And this is the new line numbers. I didn't understand that edit ln is now this file, but so, I can now show you a file because it went from being the entirety of ln with a few changes, specifically this and this this stuff like that. But even though these three functions and plus another, I think main was changed. It doesn't make sense to have the rest of it, like the normal mode function, the visual mode function, all the global variables, listeners. I'm pretty sure I explained it. This is the main was changed a bit, and I was a little bit concerned about that one because main gets renamed when doing the splicing and the inserting into base because for the command line, and the command line also has a main function, and other stuff can have a main function, and especially when editing multiple docs, that type of stuff has to get sorted out. So but it was a good test thing to have main edited, because it kind of forced me to have that be well, that part making it seem a little bit more than what it is. It was just the placement was really important, so that way it could be renamed, because I think I had it at the whatever. This was the old edit ln with all the useless stuff. And there goes like 800 lines of code. Oh god. Some stuff got moved around so that way it's consistent, so each snippet folder has some command line. Then a splices folder will become important once the third thing to do, technically the third or fifth thing to do on the to-do list gets done or is in progress. Then this folder becomes important. Okay, that's we could go into specifics when it comes to this. I went through a lot of different ways to go about it, and of course I don't remember all of them. So I guess the only thing I can do is a quick explanation of this thing. So we have functions in the, how detailed do I want to go into this? There's a little bit more specific when it comes to Uh, Let me just take a second. I'm tired. Uh, 30 more minutes. 10, 5 minutes. So there are specifics when it comes to um when a snippet is going instead of another snippet, it does the insert, a normal insert, because it could have stuff that it just wants to insert, and then it could also do and specify semicolon function space and then the name of the function to replace the function your to replace the default function with your function if the option is toggled. Uh, but we're just gonna focus on replace functions. So uh, I divided into 3 steps. First step being each one of those uh functions inside of this snippet that will be going. I'm gonna a little bit of shorthand snippet and then default. Technically, they're both snippets, but so uh the it will search for a semicolon and then it'll split it by space because when replacing, you could tell that it needs to replace a function when you specify function and then the name of the function. That's the kind of indicator. So uh otherwise just a normal function, semicolon function with no name means to insert it into uh with the rest of the functions. um so pretty simply you just find um you know loop through the snippet. If the first character is a semicolon, then you split it. Uh, Wait a second. Wouldn't splitting it? Can't you Can't you hold on, I have to put a comment here to make sure I'm not going. Actually, I could do a test right now. Oh, it's because you specify by space that it won't split it. Whereas if you didn't include that, uh, it would. Okay, so this. Okay, okay, that makes sense. I, you know, I shouldn't even. Uh, oops. This is what happens when I'm sleepy. I can't do anything. Yeah, so this is just one element. Whereas with the when you're intending to replace, it'll be more than one. So you just check the length, and then you've pretty much found it. Uh, you so from there, you basically want to loop until the end of the function, but you have to loop with the +1 because you're at the semicolon. I'll call it a command. You need to go one past that. But also, if you're stopping, you're not executing any code. Once you reach tab close bracket, then that won't be included if this wasn't the way it was set up. If it wasn't +1, and temp count is basically I had to basically those functions, instead of putting it all into like all of it combined into one array, to which is basically just like how it was in the file, except with stuff taken out. To get more use out of it, I put it into an array of arrays. So there are 4 arrays inside of an array. I'm using the snippet line numbers as an example when I'm talking about that. So there are 4 functions you need to replace. So data array is an array of 4 arrays, and each of those arrays is the lines of the functions to insert into default. So you have that prepared, which is this one was kind of the easy one. This one I spent a lot of time while being very sleepy. Basically getting this down. So this one I kind of had an idea. It wasn't as easy as the first one, of course. I think for the last one, I had problems because I had to like move stuff around, stuff like that. Basically, ooh. So, let's just go to the second one. So I declare a variable called insert at, which I'll talk about later. We loop through the array, which contains the 4 elements, and then we loop through base, and we're basically checking um each array inside the data array, uh if the first element of the array in an array is, which would basically be function name, uh so the first line of the function, basically saying it's a function and then the name. If that is the same, if you could find that find that line, you're gonna loop through base default, and if you find that line, then you've found the function. Because there shouldn't be two functions named the same. At least I don't think so. And so now you found the location of that function in base. So that location gets stored for later. You just store 4 times because you're replacing 4 functions. So you push that location to an array, and now you have to delete that function. So basically while so the way base.splice works, if you splice the current line, the array changes, and then the next line becomes the current line because you just deleted the current line. So that was that is useful in this case, where you're basically checking the current, as long as the current line isn't tab, basically the end of the function. You could just keep deleting the current line, and that'll end up deleting the entire function, stopping when the current line is equal to that. But then that extra closing brace is there, so you just do another delete. So you deleted it, and you have the old positions of all where the functions used to be on that default snippet document, and text something, not document, snippet. So what I did a lot is there's a lot of trouble I had, but one trouble that I remember, because it was pretty much kind of the last trouble, the last thing I had to rework because I was doing it the wrong way the first time, is I was inserting, I basically had, so from this point we're pretty much golden, assuming we have these two working, which took some time. So I was like, okay, now we just need to insert, just like up here, whatever is in data array into those spots. And I think it took me also a while to figure out that I need to, not took a while. Actually I did kind of get this, I think. I don't remember. Now everything is fine now. So I was like, okay. Now we just insert it. So I just loop the data array, the double loop, and uh insert it. So these two were flipped at the time. So it would insert, and the first three, because they're in the same spot, they worked perfectly. Except for main, which was a lot farther down the document. And after some looking at what came to the browser, it was a lot higher up. And then as soon as I saw the first three working perfectly and the last one a lot higher up, I kind of knew what I had to do. What that meant was up here in the deletion thing, it would, let's say the first three, I remember the numbers because I looked at them a lot, but the first three were at 55, and then main was supposed to be inserted at 782 according to how this was set up first. Also, this thing is backwards. It used to not be backwards, which also made it a lot worse. Or actually, no, that was the fix. So this was forwards, and it would go to 55. It would write 55, and then it'll delete the three functions. Now the document is a lot shorter, smaller than it normally would be. Then it'll go to main, write that, and then delete again. But the thing is, when I go to insert the three documents worked fine because they were the first thing. But everything after that would be in the wrong spot because I'm trying to think, does this code not work? Um, I'm just gonna make a comment to myself later. Might not work if function I'm just gonna ignore that and assume it works for now. I wouldn't even know how to all that though. That's a little scary. Um, it feels like I would have come across that problem if that were the case. Um, now it's chocolate at 120. I don't remember where I left off. Um, so basically, I had to delete it backwards, where I would delete main first from base, and then the other functions. Uh, and then I would get the proper locations of where I should insert, which I think might not be correct. But to fix it, like, the only solution I'm thinking of is to actually use the line that was before what you're deleted, but uh like, what if the line is somewhere else on the document? Uh, oh, uh, oh. If case, then insert uh random no, before delete. Then, uh, insert Right. Okay, so that's the solution. But I don't know if this is the case that it doesn't work. Hopefully I don't have to do that. Did I click it again? You know, that's a good and bad thing that I'm always in a frenzy. Bad thing is that plans are more expensive. Maybe it's not significant. Oh, it's because we. Probably not. It's worth it. It's probably way extremely worth it. Um, Now that we have the proper placements, we can insert, right? But when we insert, I don't know. I think I could also fix this by reversing one but not the other. But I'm writing that. I already said it, so I really wanted to. I could look back at this. Um, so then I just inserted it backwards, and it also helped with this. I used to have another temp variable right here. I was just the reverse of this because this was positive. Something something. Okay, and we basically insert it backwards compared to inserting it forwards. Like I don't know. Okay. I think we're done here. At least with that. I just want to click cookies. Haven't typed. I gotta practice typing. Slowly. Dang it. Okay. Just one test. Oh, so that was not an easy text. But I felt like I did well. I can't believe my best race is 73 on this account. It is like low. Like I should be able to like find a text and get 80 pretty easily. And I almost got there on a not so good text. Really long words. with unusual letters like X and unusual patterns. Um, one of these, I kind of nailed it without me realizing it. I think I thought I was gonna have a hard time with contributed, but I don't know, my muscle memory got it right. Um, and I didn't even think about the spelling of the word. Because normally, if it's like a really long word like this, I have to think of like, oh, it's LT, and then oh, it's EO. I don't have to think about like most of the word, just like if there's a pattern in the word that's a little bit off. Like in exhaustible, if I were to guess, I'd probably look at the AU. Even though the X is harder, I wouldn't care about the X because I know it's exhaustible. Uh, but yeah, I was like, uh, for a second, I was like, I'll have to like slow down and think about this. But my hands just went, and I didn't make a mistake. But going fast, not a good way to practice though. I'm probably way better. I'm pretty sure because of confidence that I'm way faster now than I ever was on QWERTY. Um, although probably not due to the Dvorak itself, but more due to some switching layouts. There has to be practice to get back to where I was. That practice has to be enjoyable, and because I intended to switch, therefore I would practice more on the Dvorak than I normally would on QWERTY. Or QWERTY, I didn't practice at all, uh, ever. So whereas with Dvorak, doing like a few typing tests every now and then, there's like a intention there on trying to get faster and intention on like learning and developing the muscle memory the right way. Um, whereas on QWERTY, I probably like a little bit of home row, but QWERTY using all my fingers. I would just type randomly wherever. It was probably especially because uh, well, it's because like um when I was young, it's like I didn't learn and tend to learn the didn't know that there was a right way. You just kind of press the buttons. And also hate stagger. But when switching layouts, there was an effort there to, you know, there's not much to learn. Just keep your fingers on home row. Go up and down. Not even up and down on staggered, but staggered's horrible. You just go move your fingers up and down. Most of the time. For like, I'm pretty sure for like 0 to 80, probably a little bit more, um, like at my speed. But I do hear to get when you're getting really high up there. Probably not anytime soon. Um, and by then it would be like so much practice that it's not worth it. But you'd be doing um not home rule but like combinations. So instead of leaving a finger idle, you can use it because sometimes like just looking at the keyboard, if it's like CE or DE or I guess ED, you could ED DE to move your index and middle finger in a way so that way your index finger is involved, even though it normally wouldn't be. Um, but that is crazy stuff, and typing home rule is like really comfortable, and it doesn't lead to bad habits, right? Am I thinking the right words? Is that true? It doesn't lead to. It is generally good. I think. I think. Pretty sure. Um, less likely for bad habits to occur, and a decent way to divide the work among the fingers. That's all I have to say on that matter. 30, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. Okay, well, I should probably go to sleep. Uh, didn't get lucky with the bakeberry, but see next time. It is September 27th, Tuesday, 1:18 a.m.